probably be comes up on your screen that says you're okay with the recording. Some of you may took the opportunity to check out the YouTube page where it is uploaded, and you can revisit that and revisit all the tutorials under the Tai Chi playlist. But it is just a tool for you, because I'm the one that's spotlighted. I'm the only one that will be seen on the video. So even though you can see everybody on the very top of the screen, you see a tiny little box, that doesn't come up on the recording. However, if you talk, your voice will be heard, just to let you know how that works, because technology can be confusing. So, but it is for you to be able to revisit. It's really not intended for people who aren't signed up for the class, but I do make it public. Just it's so much easier to find if I do it that way. So let me know if y'all have any problems signing in to that and finding it after the class, and I'll help walk you through it, because I'm in the same boat as y'all. Sometimes technology just gets the best of me. So, for Mr. and Miss Mackey, y'all are both each signed up for the class. So I write both of your names down whenever y'all are here. Look at us filling up this class. Constance.
Yay us.
Ma'am, I meant sir.
I said, yay us.
Hey, us. Good gracious. I'm proud of that. I don't know that I've had this many people in one class. So please don't let me lose track of what your needs are. Always let me know what your needs are, regardless of who all's here. I did remember my chair. Remember I told you last week that the chair was in the trunk of my car. This is the chair that I use whenever I'm doing seated Tai Chi. That's sturdy. It's not on wheels. Depending on your height, you may need a chair that sits a little bit higher or lower. Hold on, what am I hearing? Okay, not hearing it now. So I'm short. I'm 5'2". And so a shorter chair is not that big of a deal for me. So coming down to the chair. But if you are a tall person, you may want a chair that sits up a little bit higher. That's just something to think about. So I equate this also with the toilet or the commode. And do you know that they have risers that you can put on your commode so that it's not as far of a journey to go down, and then not as much work to come back up? So we're talking about functional fitness, and Tai Chi can help with your everyday living functions. And that toilet is one that's very important to us, right? And so think about that in terms of what chair you're using if you're doing seated Tai Chi, and also different things that are available on the market to you for your toilet or commode. Now, I learned that from a coworker who had back surgery, and that really helped her get up and down off of the commode. All right, got Miss Sharita coming through. So last week I did a lot of talking. I'm always going to do a lot of talking. It's my job as your instructor, but we will do less and less talking as we practice what we learn about. We're going to start off open and closing our hands. I'm going to show you some tips on seated Tai Chi today, and I'll show you more and more in the class. And, if people are interested, I can do more seated. But we start off by walking around, closing our hands, pumping our arms, and what we're doing is just getting our bodies warmed up and ready for exercise. If you're doing seated Tai Chi, you'll do the same thing. You'll open and close. Take your feet off the floor. Bend your arms and elbows, and it's just an effort to get blood flowing. See, I'm walking my feet forward, I'm walking my feet back. Just any activity that's going to help get my blood flowing. So remember, I told you that the upper body warm-up stretches that we do can easily be done seated because there's no footwork that goes with those movements. So if you have a hard time with endurance or stamina, staying standing for a long time, then you might want to start off the warm-up seated. Okay? That's just personal preference, and you know what your needs are, and no matter what I'm doing, always listen to your body because we're all different. I'm going to pull this to the back just a little so I don't trip over it. That would be a great thing to do in falls prevention class, huh? All right, so thinking about our body structure, we want our feet about shoulder width or hip width apart. I'm going to get this camera right. Knowing what's coming soon is our spinal stretch. So I want you to be able to see my feet. About hip width, shoulder width, I have a good posture where like a pulls up. I'm getting feedback on myself. Let me see.
Sounds like an echo.
Yeah, it does.
Bad. She bad woman.
People
Or
not.
she tight.
I thought there was a way I could just mute everybody. I love technology, y'all. Yeah, there's definitely an echo. Let's see. I can just go one by one. Mute, mute. That may take care of everything. All right, I have everybody muted. If there's a reason you need to talk, put it in the chat or just wave at me like this and I will unmute you. And I apologize. I don't know why it does that. That's why I say technology can be frustrating, but we don't let it get the best of us. We work with what we know and we move forward with it. So we're in our stable stance, and that means we widen our feet a little bit on the floor. If our feet were right beside each other, then we're more likely to fall over. Just like a table, if all the legs were right beside each other, that table would fall over. So the legs are spread apart just a little, shoulder width apart is a good average. Same thing as if you're way out here, then that's not very stable. Your center of gravity, your weight can't be centered over those feet whenever they're that far apart. So have those feet about shoulder width apart in that good posture, like I was saying, like a string that pulls up and down at the same time. Our shoulders are back, but they're relaxed. We're not holding any tension anywhere. And Tai Chi helps us become aware of how we're holding our bodies. And so this body structure, upright posture, and feet shoulder width apart is a great start. So we're going to begin with our neck, and you'll remember we did this last week. We brought our hands up, palms down. I'm going to come closer. I'm going to turn my hands, pull them towards my chin and chest, turn and push them away from my body, and follow those hands all the way down as my chin goes to my chest. Again, hands come up, pull towards, turn and push. Notice my arms aren't locking out. I'm pushing out, but I still have that soft bend in my elbow, and then I follow those hands all the way down. If you want to practice breath, you can inhale as you come up And then whenever you're ready, exhale all of that air from your lungs. Slow, smooth, and continuous is the nature of our movements, and that is one of our principles under movement control. The other one for our neck comes up, turn, and then here we drop one to our hip, and now we follow this one as we look towards that shoulder, and then we come back to center and switch our hands. We're going side to side, just turning our head towards that shoulder. Remember, we're not going as far as we can go. We just go until we feel that slight stretch and then come back to the front. The more we practice this movement, the less stiffness we'll have in our neck, and the more likely we'll be able to do those daily living activities like drive and we need to switch lanes, or back out from a parking spot where we have to look over that shoulder to make sure that we can safely make that move. So remember, slow, smooth, and continuous is that movement control principle that we follow, and we follow that throughout our movements. Next is for our shoulders, where we have our hands to the side of our legs and we rotate those shoulders. Small circles forward. Think the size of a quarter, like you're drawing a quarter on the sides of your legs. And then rotate back. Same quarter, just rotating back instead of forward. This may feel like a little massage you give yourself. And it's also a way to help reset posture. So always rotate forward first and then rotate back. And you see how it pulls those shoulders back and it improves your posture just from that small circle. The purpose is to warm up and stretch the shoulder joint. We go through all our major joints in our body. So that one is for our shoulder. The other one for our shoulder, our hands come up, palms up, and then once our arms get about shoulder height, we turn our hands and then we push them down in front of us. Now we bring those hands up, turn, and push down. Notice I'm using the word push, but doing it ever so gently. That's that gentle resistance. Another principle, we're moving as if the air is heavy. So the heaviness of the air is trying to keep us from coming up, and the heaviness of the air is trying to keep us from pushing down. And so that helps us utilize muscle that we may not really need for this movement, but we're increasing the work and increasing that benefit by using gentle resistance. This is also a great movement to do and pair it with breathing. So, and you can go at your own pace depending on your lungs, is inhale as you come up and exhale as you push down. Inhale. Exhale through pursed lips. So obviously I'm doing this standing, but if you were to practice this seated, then you don't have to worry about falling or keeping balance. Your chair is holding you. But even when you sit, you want to make sure your feet are still shoulder width apart and they're engaged with the floor. And so that's why, another reason why the height of your chair is important. I'm really short, and there are some chairs that I can't reach the ground in because they're so high. And so that wouldn't be a good chair for me to do Tai Chi in. I want my feet to be grounded in the floor. And so even seated, we want to practice good posture and have that stable stance. So yes, the chair is holding us. We don't have to worry about falling, but we increase that chance by holding our bodies in a more supportive way. But to be able to do this movement and just focus on breath can help with the reduction of stress and anxiety, just calming any thoughts that may be intrusive to your peace. So practicing this movement seated in conjunction with breath can be helpful to us. But just remember that with your chair, the importance of height and also still being in a stable stance and good body structure. Next is for our spine, and that involves us holding our ball. Remember, we're going to take this hand that's on top and push down towards the floor, still keeping a soft bend in that elbow. I'm not locking a joint. We never lock a joint in Tai Chi. And the hand that's on the bottom of our ball is going to follow our spine up and pushes up towards the ceiling. So we're pushing up and down at the same time. Stretching that spine. Come back to our ball. Again, this is one you can do seated, especially if you have a hard time with stamina or holding out standing for a long time. If you want to think about breath, inhale as you come to the ball and exhale as you separate. I like the exhale as I separate. I feel like I'm really stretching that much more with that exhale. So practice that breath with the movement. Inhale with the ball, exhale as you separate. Now you might not have the range of motion in your shoulder to allow you to press above your head, okay? And that's okay. Don't worry about that. Remember, we all are starting in a different place. So wherever you are, start there. Wherever you're capable of going, go there. So yours might look like this. Just a little bit of push. And when you do what you can do, what I want you to think about is doing that complete move. So just think about it in your head as you do what you feel comfortable doing, and gradually you'll get to that space where you can go a little bit further up and up. You can even stretch your spine by doing this. Okay, so look, I got this little a tiny string right here, and I'm pulling. And when I'm pulling, I'm thinking about that spine stretch. And I come back and I switch my hands and I'm pulling. And I'm thinking about that spine stretching. So I don't even have to do this big movement to stretch my spine. I can do it really small too. Thinking about that spine stretch. And I think that's super cool, that it doesn't always have to be big. And we live in that world that tells us that. So remember that it doesn't have to be big to make big changes or improvements for you. Okay, so that's stretching our spine, whether you do it small, whether you do it big, whether you start wherever you're comfortable with and gradually grow from there. That is stretching our spine vertically. Excuse me, I gotta fill up my water. All right, so these are the ones that we did last week. We did our neck, we did our shoulders, and our spine. And I told you this week we would do our lower body movements and gave you the, try not to use the word warning, but I gave you the message that it gets a little more complicated when we get to our lower body stretches because we are doing weight transfer, which is part of our principles in Tai Chi. It's also where that magic happens, and also a place we can utilize our chairs for our safety. So let's do our final stretch for our spine. We're back to our ball, and the hand that's on top tells us the direction we're going to go. So this hand's on top, I'm going that way. So right and left don't matter in our warm-ups because we go both ways. So don't worry if I'm going to the right or left. You just go the hand that's on top, you go that way. So I'm going to turn the top part of my body, and I'm going to stop just above that knee. So I'm not going way over here. Can I go way over here? Physically, yes, I can. However, if I go way over here, then I'm going to start twisting my spine. It may hurt my spine. It may hurt my lower back. I might start feeling my knee pull with that turn, and that can hurt my knee. So small in Tai Chi, it's a little turn to the direction of the hand that's on top. And then we switch our hands and we come back across. So learning this torso movement prepares us for our waving hands and clouds movement, which we'll learn later. But all of our warm-ups prepare us for our series of movements in Tai Chi. So it's nothing that we rush through. It's movements that we learn and take seriously so it can help us get the most benefits of our Tai Chi. Here. So we're coming to the above our knee and we're switching our hands and then coming back across. So it's not an arm movement. If I were to do this, that does more for my shoulders, right? But I'm warming up my spine. So my hands stay still. Even though they look like they're moving, it's my torso that's moving and my hands are going along for the ride. So keep that in check, that it's your torso moving and not your hands. Because I know if you're watching it, then you may think that I'm moving my hands, but it's my torso. So if I have my hands to the side, I'm turning my torso and I'm turning my torso, right? So my arms are just going along for the ride. That's that spinal warm-up movement. And again, I'm not going as far as I can go because I could hurt myself. That's not necessary. I'm just going that short little trip from side to side to warm up that spine horizontally. All right, that's what we went over last week. So we'll move forward now by going to our hips. Now remember what I said, with our neck, shoulders, and spine, there weren't any feet instructions other than feet shoulder width apart. There's a slight bend in that knee as we support our weight. I said you can do this seated. So that everything we've done so far can very easily be done seated because it was arm work. This one right here with the spinal that we just finished, it's actually really nice to do it seated because your hips can't go anywhere. They're on your chair. So you really can get a feel for that spine, that spinal stretch and warm up whenever you're seated. So if you have problems with stamina or holding out, standing up, starting off those seated, that's a great move. But if you can and if you're able, start here with standing with your hips. And this is where we do our weight transfer. Now, I want you to watch me where I have that good posture, feet shoulder width apart, soft bend in my knees. I'm going to shift weight to one leg, and it doesn't matter which. I'm going to take this leg that no longer has weight, and I'm going to place that heel forward, and my hands are going to come back. Then I'm going to bring that foot back to center, and my hands come to center. Then I'm going to put my toe back and my hands forward. Now, what I want you to notice here is that my toe didn't go straight back. My toe went back, but out to the side. Now, that out to the side is like a kickstand on a bicycle. Imagine if the kickstand on your bike went straight back. It wouldn't hold your bike up, would it? No. That kickstand comes out. That's like a third leg. And that's what keeps your bike from falling over. So when you place your foot back, it's back and out to the side like a kickstand. Now, that whole time, that weight is on this one leg. You can imagine that is very challenging. So, if that is very challenging to you, if you feel uncomfortable, if you feel afraid you're going to fall, then get your chair or have something stable. This table right here is going nowhere. I have this wall here. It gets hot in here when I shut the door, so I try to keep it open. But I have this wall here that I can rely on if I need to, right? So identify something near you or that you can bring to your space that is stable, that maybe you don't touch it, but you know it's there. If you find yourself getting off balance, so you can reach your hand out there and catch yourself. Because as we strengthen the muscles in our legs, we may need that extra little help, especially a peace of mind, because maybe we don't realize how strong we are yet. So you can use your chair, totally skip your hand movements altogether. This isn't my favorite chair because it has this bar right here, which is for stability of the chair. But if I need to go forward too far, sometimes that bar will get in the way. But I can hold on to it here. It really is hard to find the perfect chair. So you can use that. You can step to the side, have one hand on the chair, and do the arm movements with just this one hand. So that gives you some options. Find where you're comfortable and then grow from there. But you may be already comfortable doing as instructed. I just know this is where it gets serious with weight transfer and we really get to know the strength of our legs. It's a lot to ask for one leg to hold our weight for a long time. Now, there was a study done that says, and I probably told you last week, that the more able you are to stand on one foot, the less likely you are to fall. And to me, that just seems really silly to even spend time on, because no duh, if you're able to stand on one foot, you're less likely to fall. That means your muscle's pretty strong, right? Even though we don't stand on one foot in Tai Chi for long periods of time, we're constantly transferring weight from one leg to the other. So essentially, we are standing on one foot at the time as we transfer weight and we do other things. Now, in this movement where we shift the weight, that heel is forward and the hands are back. That's a counterbalance, right? So if my hands were forward and my foot was forward, I'm more likely to lean forward. If my foot is back and my hands are back, then I'm more likely to lean back. And if I'm leaning forward or leaning back or even leaning to the sides, I'm more likely to fall. So we have a counterbalance movement that helps keep us upright. There's another reason why we do that, and that's called a cross-lateral movement. and it challenges our brains to do a cross-lateral movement. My brain wants my feet and hands to be going the same way. That's what feels right and easy. As soon as I do the opposite, my brain's working a little bit harder. And that's good. That keeps our brain working. And so Tai Chi can help our brain work as well. And we do that through cross-lateral moving. We do it all the way through our Tai Chi. So with all that said, pick which way feels best for you. But our goal is shifting weight to one leg, placing the heel forward and hands back. We pause in the middle, and then we put that toe back, hands forward. Notice my hands aren't up. They're no higher than my shoulder. I pause in the middle, heel forward, hands back, pause, toe back, hand forward. Let's do it one more time. Let's come back to the center, heel forward, hands back, pause, and toe back, hands forward. All right, come back to center, give weight to both legs. That was a lot to ask of that one leg, wasn't it? That's the challenge that gets those muscles stronger. Challenging ourselves to stay with an upright posture as we shift weight to one leg helps us have a better body structure, so we're less likely to fall. So let's shift our weight to the other leg. We want to do everything balanced. Heel forward, hands back, pause in the middle, and toe back, hands forward. And you may find that one leg is stronger than the other. I'll remind you while you're not doing anything, that don't forget to breathe. When we're doing things that are challenging, we tend to hold our breath, and we just want to make sure that we're continuing to breathe. Let's do one more. Pause and toe back, hands forward. Come back to center. Very challenged. I'm giving myself a shake. This hip right here, it felt that a little bit more than the other hip. So some weeks you're going to have that, where maybe one hip is sore, one knee is sore, one leg is sore. Being aware and making adjustments is the way we grow with our bodies. All right, so those were, that one was for our hips. The other one for our hip involves weight transfer as well. So what we're going to do here, and again, I'll have my invisible chair so that you can still see my legs. My invisible chair where I'm holding on as I shift weight to one leg. And then this other foot I'm going to lift and tap out to the side. Bring it back, shift the weight, and lift and tap out to the side. Okay, so there's my imaginary chair, if I'm holding on to my chair. If not, then my hand work looks like this. I stack my hands on top of each other, and the direction of the weight shift, so if I'm shifting to this leg, I take my hands in the direction of the weight shift. So I'm just like that, and I'm going to switch my hands, and then I'm going to go to the other side as I shift weight to the other leg. Notice I'm staying within that frame. So if I went to Hobby Lobby or Michael's and I ordered a frame that was just for my body, it would go to right here. I stop at the edge of that frame. If I were to go outside of that frame, let's just say, and don't follow me on this, just watch, I go outside of my frame. What am I doing? You see me leaning? Anytime I lean, no matter which direction, that puts me towards falling. So I want to keep that upright posture, and that's why moving within our frame is so important, is it keeps our upright posture and it keeps us from leaning or going towards falling. So with this hip warm-up stretch, shift, that hands go in the direction of that weight shift, lift and tap. Bring it back, switch my hands, shift, tap, bring it back. Don't forget to breathe. And you breathe at your own pace. Just make sure you're not holding your breath. Remember, you can hold that invisible chair and skip the hand movements. Again, this is a counterbalance. I'm going the opposite direction of that movement of that leg. Side to side. Weight transfer. Come back to center. So that was our two new movements we're learning this week with our hips. And it involved weight transfer, where we shifted the weight to one leg. We placed the heel forward and the hands back. We pause in the middle and then toe back like a kickstand, hands forward. Noticing when my hands are forward, I'm not up, I'm not any higher than shoulder height, and I'm not leaning. Same thing, go to the other side, back, pause, and forward. I'm also not bringing any tension to my shoulders. And so I've had times whenever I've caught myself bringing my hands forward, and you can't help but grab a little bit of tension here because you're engaging muscle. And then when you come back down, you keep that tension. But what I want you to do is be aware that you always want to keep that relaxed shoulder. So here may allow you, or here may cause you to grab tension in your shoulder, but when you bring those hands down, make sure you release that tension if you brought any up when you had your hands up. So always be aware of your body and any tension that you may have, and let it go. Because remember, body awareness is a gift that Tai Chi gives us. All right, and the other one for our hip, shift and tap. So notice as I shift the weight, my body stays upright. I'm not leaning as I shift the weight because that takes me towards falling. Keep myself upright as I shift the weight. I shift the weight just over top of that leg and tap that other foot out. So I'm not leaning with that movement. All right, those are for our hips. Next is for our knees. More weight transfer. Another opportunity to use our table, use our chair, use a wall, whatever is in your space that you can rely on. You can always skip the movements, the hand movements, but do your best to try to do the weight transfer so that you can make a difference in the strength of your legs and increase your stamina. In our knee movements, we have loose fists. When we make a loose fist in Tai Chi, think about holding an egg that you don't want to break, or maybe it's those chocolate eggs that you get at Easter, and you know if you held them too tight, the egg would melt. So you just loosely hold that egg so it doesn't melt. I think about Cadbury eggs. That's what I think about. Or you can think about chicken eggs, but a loose fist. We never want to clench our hands and make a tight fist, because what's that? Tension. Tension causes pain. So anywhere we're holding tension can cause us to have pain. So we want to make sure we keep that fist loose. So that fist is loose, it's down here by our hips. And so when our fists are down by our hips, we're engaged in the movement. If I'm down here, my arms, my hands aren't really engaged. They're just attached. So here I'm engaged. Good posture, no tension. I'm going to shift the weight to one leg, shift. The other foot I'm going to lift and I'm going to tap forward. And when I tap forward, the opposite hand, remember cross lateral movement, I'm going to place my hand forward. Notice soft bend, I didn't lock my joint. I went out very softly and then I came back to my hip. So when I place that toe forward, my hand, opposite hand goes forward and I bring it back. So notice my fists are here, and when I bring it up and go out, you see how I turned that wrist and came forward. Here. So here my palms are down, and then here, well, here my palms are up, sorry. And then I bring my palm down as I punch and bring it back. So you see that twist movement? That's just another opportunity to move our joints. So it's shift weight to one leg, lift, tap and punch, and then bring it back. Shift the weight, lift, tap and punch, bring it back. So the foot that we're extending forward, we're not giving any weight to it. We don't even have to touch the floor. You can keep that foot in the air, and as you get stronger, you may find that you pretend there's a cup on the floor and you tap the top of that cup. You don't have to rush to get there. You don't ever have to get there. Don't forget to breathe. Lift, tap, and punch. So a while ago when we warmed up that hip, we tapped to the side. Now we're tapping out forward. All right, give yourself a little shake again. This is hard work for our legs, y'all. So I will never discount the work that our legs do in Tai Chi from weight transfer. So anytime you need a break, just kind of loosen up and kick out and get ready for another movement. All right. So that's our first knee exercise. The other knee exercise is similar in that we do something with one foot and we punch with that opposite hand. So it's similar in that way. What we do differently is we shift. We're going to place that foot forward. And notice I said place, not step. When we place a foot in Tai Chi, we do not give it weight. And that's called an empty step. And we practice empty steps throughout. And so that is something that we have to kind of relearn, because the way we normally move in life is we place that foot and shift the weight at the same time. We do what's called controlled falling. And usually it's just fine. But in Tai Chi, we practice an empty step, then a weight transfer. Okay? And so when I empty stepped, now I'm going to transfer weight to that front foot. This back foot, I keep flat on the floor. So I don't lift my heel up, because you see what happened. As soon as I lifted that foot up, my body went forward, didn't it? And if I'm going forward, I'm going towards falling. When my heel is down, I'm more stable. I'm connected and grounded to this floor. I'm less likely to fall. So I'm going to shift weight to that front foot, but I'm still going to have a little bit of weight on that back foot. Something else I want to be conscious of is that my knee, it doesn't go past my toe. It's hard to see today with my baggy breeches, but if your knee were to go, sometimes I will demonstrate the wrong way of doing things, but this is something I just will not show you because it does hurt. And if you go so far that your knee goes past your toe, your knee's going to hurt. So remember, in Tai Chi, all of our movements are really small. So don't think you have to go all out and just bend forward. We're keeping that knee above that toe. As we shift a little bit of weight, then we shift it back and we put our feet side by side. So we're shifting weight to one side because we shift to one leg. We place that foot out forward. Now we're going to shift forward as we punch. Remember, keeping that back foot flat on the floor and still a little bit of weight back there. And then bring the weight back, feet side by side. I love this movement because of all the weight transfer. We transfer to the side. We transfer forward. We transfer back. We shift to the side. We shift forward. We shift back, side by side. So you see how much work these legs are getting. That full range of motion of our muscles and our joints to support our bodies. So when we work them all the way around, they get strong all the way around. So I love this movement for that. The hand movement is very Tai Chi. You know, it has that feel of Tai Chi, that fight we're never going to have. But the hand work, that punch, that loose fist, that is not the most important part of this move. I'm not telling you not to do it. I'm just telling you, if you have to pick and choose for the sake of safety, then skip the hand movement, find something to hold on to, and do the weight transfer. Front, back, side, front, back, side. That's what's going to get your legs and muscles strong to help keep you from falling. So honestly, when it comes to our warm-up stretches, our hip and our knee movements are the most challenging, and it's because of that weight transfer. So understand those will be the most challenging, but anytime we're most challenged, we are most rewarded. So I'm not telling you to push through pain. I'm not telling you to do it anyway, regardless of strength and regardless if you're falling. I'm not telling you that. I'm saying find a way that you can do this move so that you can get those benefits from it. But yes, the hips and the knees, they're going to challenge us the most through our weight transfer. Now the final movement is for our ankles. There's no hand work. We hold our hands in front of us. And we shift, this is for our ankles, we shift weight to one leg, and then we rock our foot, heel toe, heel toe. Easily something you can do seated. So if that hip and knee warm-up movement kind of wore you out, have a seat and rock these feet from a seated position, back to center. Just always listen to your body. Take a break when you need it. Watch, follow along, however you can. Just stay safe. So we're rocking that foot heel toe. This helps with circulation and also helps with stretching those ankles. Our other one for our ankle, we do big toe, little toe. So side to side. Now, I'll talk to you about athletics. You know, if you think about a soccer player, a football player, you know, sport basketball players that have to have a lot of, they move this way, they move this way. They're moving all the ways and they move very quickly. Let's go to our other ankle. little toe, big toe, they have to have a lot of ankle strength to stay upright. If they have weak ankles, their ankles will twist and they will easily fall and get hurt. And so that's an extreme version of body movement when you're involved in soccer, basketball, football, these sports that require a lot of movement, quick, agile movement. There you go. It works the same way in us just walking around in life. We need ankle strength, and that keeps us from falling. So these movements here help with the mobility of our ankle joint, but also with the strength of our ankle joint as we transfer weight and as we move through our Tai Chi movements. Okay, so give yourself a nice shake, reminding ourselves of all of our movements. So now we know our warm-ups. This is what we'll do every class. And so each time, like I said, we'll talk less about what we learned and talk more about what we're learning. And so now we've made it through all of our warm-ups. We know that every class we're going to open and close our hands. We're going to walk around. We're going to bend those knees. We're going to bend those elbows just to get circulation, blood flowing, muscles and joints warmed up. Then we're going to go through our major joints, starting with our neck. And that's where we come up towards, push, and then follow those hands all the way down, chin to chest. We're going to start out that same way, and we're going to go side to side, warming up that neck muscle, working on the mobility of that neck joint, working on the stiffness. Then we're going to go to our shoulders. We're going to roll our shoulders forward and roll our shoulders back. Then we're coming here. Here. Then we go to our spine where we have our ball. We separate and stretch that spine vertically, and then we come to our ball and we go side to side. Remember, staying within our frame. Then we go to our hips where we're challenged through weight transfer. We shift the weight, heel forward, hands back, pause, and toe back like a kickstand, and switch sides. We're just doing a review of our warm-ups that we've learned. Because next week we'll start with our Tai Chi movement, starting with commencement. Then we shift our weight from side to side. Then to our knees, we shift, lift, tap and punch. Bring it back. Shift, lift, tap and punch. Remember, slow, smooth, continuous, upright posture. Now we're transferring weight as we shift forward and back. Shift side, forward, back, side by side. Then we go to our ankles. We always like when we get to our ankles, we know that's the last one. And it's after we've been very challenged with our legs. And then both sides, heel toe. And then both sides, big toe, little toe, side to side. So, as long as these warm-ups are done with principle, then you're going to get all the benefits that we've talked about with what Tai Chi does for us. So you never have to learn the Tai Chi movements. I want you to. I'm going to teach you those. But if you do practice on your own and all you can remember is 2 for your neck, 2 for your shoulders, 2 for your spine, 2 for your hips, your knees, and your ankles, If that's easiest for you to remember, do those with principles in mind, with slow, smooth, and continuous, thinking about heavy air with gentle resistance, upright posture, no tension, the weight transfer where you're not leaning, song or open joints where you're not locking elbows or locking knees. And then in your own practice, you can practice mental quietness or jing. So you can play easy music or Tai Chi music where you can just kind of settle into those moves. And as we do our cool downs, I am going to play our Tai Chi music. I know everybody is muted, and I don't know how to unmute. I wish I knew how to just that mutes me. I wish I knew how to unmute everybody all at the same time. All right, we'll figure that out another day. Let me find our Tai Chi music. Tai Chi. If you have Spotify, our Tai Chi music is on Spotify. It's Dr. Paul Lamb, and it looks like this. If you have Spotify. If you have a CD player, remember that I do have CDs with the same music. But y'all just have to let me know what y'all think y'all can utilize. All right, so with our Tai Chi music, we're going to cool down. And we cool down by giving ourselves a nice fist massage. So that loose fist again, I'm not clamped down. And I'm just lifting that knee up as I punch ever so lightly the muscles of my legs. And saying thank you to those legs for working so hard to keep us upright and strong. The next thing that we do in a cool down is gather tension. We tense up those muscles and then we release and let it go. And it feels so much better to let it go. Because if we're holding on to tension, we can cause ourselves pain, and we don't want pain. We want to let that go. Let it go. So it's a tense, it's a gather, and it's a release. Then we do our shoulder circle, bringing those hands up, turn and push down in front of us. Inhale up, and exhale. I love this movement for thinking about gathering good and then pushing out or letting go of anything bad. Whether it be thoughts or feelings, it's a good way to start the day. Then we make a right fist. I'm doing mirror image. Still a loose fist. That fist represents our strength. Our left fingers all together represents our friendship, and our thumb in our humility. And we put those together, and in mutual respect we say namaste. And that's how we end our class. Now I'm going to come through and I'm gonna push this button that says ask to unmute. And so it may come up on your screen where it,
Okay.
0 seconds of 30
All right.
seconds.
so everybody's gonna be on unmute now. Does anybody have any questions for me?
I do.
I do.
I heard something
I
about
heard something about
you're supposed to
you're
register.
supposed to register.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you tell me who's
Can you tell
talking?
me who's talking?
Debbie McDonald.
Debbie McDonald. Okay.
Give me just a
Give me
second
just a
and let me
second and let me
see.
see.
You should have
You
received
should
an
have received
envelope
an
in the mail.
envelope in the mail.
with a letter from me in a self-addressed stamped envelope with a registration that looks like this. If you didn't, let me know and I can resend it. But that's what that registration is.
We didn't get
Could you
that,
please,
AW.
could you send it to me, please?
To Miss Debbie?
Yes,
Okay, I'll be happy to.
Matthew,
thank you.
Just to, hold on, let me push record, let me stop the recording right quick. Are you sure you want to stop recording?